Network here in beautiful Round Rock. It is Tuesday, folks. Oh, it's Tuesday. You know what day that is. 17th of February, 2009. Robbie Noel, Bob Chapman joins me on this Tuesday. They will be up in a couple of minutes. And where'd my engineer go? Hello, engineer. Bless his little heart. Okay, there you are. Go ahead and fire Mike up. Today's the day that, well, the stimulus package is being signed by Barack Obama. When was this thing passed? Oh, today's Tuesday. That's right. They couldn't allow 24 to 48 hours for the Congress critters to even read the bill before they signed it. My question is, why did they not abstain on the votes if they did not have time to read it? And is there a mechanism in Congress that, wait a minute, says, you can't tell me to eat garbage and like it? Let me take a little time out here. But this is what John Bonner had to say on this deal. And it is true.
If all of that wasn't enough, here we are with 1,100 pages. 1,100 pages not one member of this body has read. Not one. There may be some staffer over the Appropriations Committee that read all of this last night. I could read 1,100 pages between midnight and now. Not one member's read this. What happened to the promise that we're going to let the American people see what's in this bill for 48 hours? But nope, we don't have time to do that.
As he throws the 1,100-page document on the House floor. That was the thump that you heard. And, folks, it is more than just piling on debt for Americans. We got about $100 trillion of that. I'll have to ask Bob Chapman here in a couple of minutes. Does he still hold with what figure for the past, present, and future obligations, debt obligations of the United States government? Some put it, I think Ron Paul said it's 60-some trillion. Others put it at $100 trillion. So we're going to spend our way out of this. The Democrats did not want people, folks, reading the fine print of this. The news media just kept reporting on it as, well, it's pork barrel spending. Just a lot of pork in the bill, just pork. No, there was other damaging things in there, stuff that had absolutely nothing to do with the supposed goal of the bailout or stimulus package, putting people to work. It's got little, if nothing, to do with that. It's continued bank bailout. It is more gun control. It is a host and plethora of things that are bad for you and I. After the politicians allowed a private corporation to absolutely put this country asunder, then they don't even have the time to even read it. You know, people have said this socializing the banks. No, we have communists literally and their ideology in the Congress. 1,100 pages yourself, and you tell me. We'll be right with our guest today. All right, sorry, getting back so late from the break. People wanting to know what has happened to our archives. Well, they're all being recorded. The man is here right now. Make sure that the our computer can talk to the letters, and, well, it does all of its electronic things. You know, I had an email the other day, geez, give me a break. I got a couple of batteries here and some jumper cables. You know, you had a power outage? No, not a power outage. A lightning strike, a little different. At any rate, welcome to the program today, Mr. Roberto Chapman.
Si, senor.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm looking at all that.
The who what?
Puerco is pork.
Oh.
and we'll call it the Puerco Chuleta. Or we can call it a Schreiner Schnitzel if you want. And you were just talking about all of the garbage that's in the bill that was never read.
Yeah.
And it's not funny. It's tragic. It just shows you how bought and paid for the Congress is. As we go deeper and deeper into depression, which we already are in, people are going to throw their hands in the air and grab their ARs and AKs. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And it's not only here, it's going to be all over the world.
We have somebody else in here. That would be Mr. Robbie Noel.
But they never
Robbie
read,
who?
Robbie.
They never read anything, for goodness sake. You know, I mean, Boner's making a big deal of this. But did he read the Patriot Act? I doubt it. So he's got no credit. The Republicans have no credibility in this fight whatsoever.
Well,
after the last 8 years under George Bush?
Well,
correct.
Exactly, and that's the counter-argument to the Republicans' arguments with the Democrats right now, is take a look at what happened to the national deficit under George Bush.
And they got a legitimate gripe on that one.
Well,
but it doesn't alter the fact that he's right.
Yeah, I was just going to...
yeah, but it's neither. But he's disingenuous because nobody reads. None of those guys. I mean, Ron Paul has
The biggest
several
piece
times.
of spending legislation in history.
Yes.
So it's different.
Far surpassing FDR.
I mean, they're all bad. There's,
yeah.
I make that distinction. There's only a handful of people who are decent or aren't perverts or not paid off. And that's just the way our government run. And that's when we get enough people unemployed, their houses are gone, their cars are gone, and they have no job. You're going to see some action because there's no way for them to go.
Well, and that brings up a good point. Before I mention anything else, I mentioned Ron Paul's targeted figure of $65 trillion. And that seems to be a figure that sticks in people's minds. So we'll play devil's advocate and use that one.
Yeah, but, John, you asked me?
Yeah.
It's $110
trillion.
That's right.
What's a few?
Ron's behind the curve here.
What's a few?
I mean, it's been over, I've seen estimates of 75 to 100 trillion for the last 2 years. And we just added 10 trillion on, actually 13 or 12 or 13. So we're over 100 trillion.
Yeah, those are Zimbabwe numbers.
Well, I'm kind of this kind of guy. I am enthralled by the universe and what God really created. and I think in terms of time and distance. That's what you have to deal with when you're thinking about space. It's an immense place. And just get this, guys. Our Milky Way alone. If you're traveling at 186,000 miles a second, that's the fastest thing we know of. That's the speed of light. Our galaxy, our Milky Way, of which there's about, they've estimated, and there may be even more, 200 billion galaxies. Galaxy is a big damn thing with billions of planets and suns in it. I mean, billions of suns and, quadrillions of orbiting planets. Our Milky Way alone is 100,000 miles across, so you have to travel 186,000 miles a second for 100,000 years to go from one point to the other point on the other side. The distance in miles that light travels in a year is 6 trillion miles. Now that's when trillions and figures like this start to make sense. We're talking about the functioning of a government that's supposed to only pay out what it takes in. The books should be balanced, right, guys? You got to do it. You can't run up deficits. Something's got to give. Doesn't matter to these people anymore. We've learned a new trick. Let's abdicate our responsibility, first off, in the soundness of money, the principle of money to begin with. Let a bunch of private bankers take that over for profit. Then they made another mistake on the mistake that they made originally and didn't correct by pulling the charter for the Fed Reserve. Now they've given it all the power that they require. And if
to privatize, not nationalize, privatize, as you said before, John.
Yeah.
And you were the only one that scoped that out. You just had to stop and think for a minute, and you obviously did that, but I haven't heard anybody else that did. They latch on to that word nationalization. Mm-hmm. It's the Federal Reserve is a private corporation, and the consolidation is taking place within the most powerful elements of the banking business, so that we can be rolled more easily into a new world. Thank them to be run out of one place, probably Brussels, and we'll have a new international unit if we let them get away with it. And I think they're going to be unsuccessful, but that's what they're shooting for. You know, if you look at this whole thing, you can see, if you put the pieces together, that all of these people didn't make mistakes. They were incompetent. All of the things that have been done deliberately to bring not only the United States and Western Europe to their knees financially, economically, but also the entire world.